we are going to be talking about the end-to-end process to follow to do more cash deals with real estate agents. Specifically, we're going to be spending more time at the top of this flow, but this is something I created for my students so they can understand kind of how this works and where you should be spending your time getting started. And I guess basically the breakages along the way, like where you can really mess up. So I put this together on a flow chart and I'm going to start from the top so you guys can understand this. So check this out. So if I wanted to do deals and sell deals at a premium, I would probably stick to these markets, in these places, in these price points. So I want to find agents that are taking listings in these areas around that price. So if I'm doing Atlanta, then maybe I want to put my price at, hey, give me all the agents that are taking listings no more than like $450,000, because I have a buyer that's willing to pay no more than $405. But if they're taking listings at $450, there's probably a chance they have other stuff that's a little bit cheaper, right? But we're not going into super luxury. So like, okay, well, they're looking for 3-bed, 2-bath. It's got to be newer than 1970. You got to be newer than 1,100 square feet. Guys, if you're a wholesaler, I want you to switch your mindset and I want you to think about yourself as like an order filler, right? We are filling an order for a big buyer. We're going out and we know what somebody's willing to pay and we want to go find a deal for a little bit less than what they're willing to pay, okay? So that way that's how we get our assignment. So the cool thing about these buyers is they'll pay a premium. If you guys don't know, hedge funds, they basically buy off cap rate. Sorry guys, a little sick here, but they buy off a cap rate. So if I'm going and I'm doing wholesale deals, I like to know where my biggest buyers are buying, and I'm going to pick one of these markets. I'm going to say, you know what? Great. I want to find active agents that are taking listings in and around close to $450,000 in Dallas, Fort Worth, which a lot of properties. They have to have 3 beds. They have to have 2 baths, 1970 or newer, 1,100 square feet. I'm not to say that every deal that you do has to fit this criteria, but you won't be able to sell to someone who's willing to pay a premium. And just in general, guys, 3-bed, 1-bath properties are really tough to move. You're not going to get a premium price for those types of properties. So ideally you're finding stuff that's just like, hey, it fits criteria and it fits this mold. But anything outside of this and you're selling to your traditional flippers, and that's okay, right? They're just not willing to pay a premium. But anyways, I say all this, and if you guys are unfamiliar how to run cap rate, it's worth a Google. I'll probably end up downloading this stream here today. And if you guys don't know, we put the masterclass recordings into Masterclass Pass. For example, if I was trying to wholesale a house in Dallas, Fort Worth, and the market value on that house is like $360,000. Well, the fund's not going to pay $360,000. Okay, well, how much work does it? Okay, well, this property needs, I don't know. Let's just say it's a pretty clean property. Maybe to get it rent ready, they need to spend about $20,000. Okay, market rent in this area, let's just call it like, $2,250, right? And then I can say, okay, what are my property taxes? Well, this is the great state of Texas, so taxes here are a little bit more expensive. Let's call it $6,700 a year for that. Okay. Well, they're buying off a cap rate, so they want to see 6%. Well, you can see we can't pay $290 for this house because the cap rate is only 4.225. What does $240,000, right? And you guys can see I can work my numbers backwards. It's still not great. So in the state of Texas, I'll go ahead and tell you, it's tough to do rental properties. And even if you wanted to sell to a fund, they're going to be really cheap on these properties because, like, look, I'm $150,000 less than retail, and they're still not hitting their target cap rate at 6%. But in normal states, like let's look at some of these other markets. Like, let's just shoot for Greensboro, North Carolina. $355,000 is their purchase price, and everything else kind of stays the same. So let's just say you're in Greensboro and you got a property that's worth $310. Same numbers, $20,000 in rehab. Let's just say this property rents out for $1,950 up there, maybe a little bit more. But look at this, your property taxes in Greensboro is probably going to be close to about $1,200, right? So like all of a sudden, we could pay a heck of a lot more money for these properties. And even if, let's go to 45. There you go. We're almost there. 240,000. There you go. 6% cap rate. So my fund will probably come in close to about 240,000 on a property that needs 20 grand in work that the retail is worth 310. That's a huge cheat code, because if I'm buying this property to do wholesale deals to just sell to fix and flippers, I'm probably going to be in the mid 100s. I'm going to offer like 160, 170. Well, look at this. We got somebody who's willing to pay a premium. So we want to have as many competitive advantages as we possibly can. I'm sorry that this calculator was pretty small, but the purpose is I'm not showing you the actual math behind it, but just the numbers you want to input, right? Your market value, your rehab, your rent, contract price, your property taxes. If there's HOA here, put it annually. Then it goes into your all-in basis, and then it goes over gross yield, cap rate, and the basic count purchase. So they're targeting about 6% when it comes to purchasing these homes, right? And this is specifically towards hedge funds. And like, make no mistake, hedge funds paused buying when the interest rate started to go up in 2022, and they're starting to slowly creep back in. So it's important you guys stay ahead of this. And that's also the whole reason why you're here on the training, right? I want you guys to do deals. I don't hold anything back. I want you guys to understand how the game actually works, right? So if you sold deals to hedge funds in the past and you understand this game pretty well, if you have never and you haven't done deals or you haven't done enough consistently, then this is pretty cool, right? You can sell these deals at a premium buyers. Now, not everything's going to fit their buy box. We're going to get deals that are 1968 and they're going to kick it out. They won't take it. Or you have properties that have 1,050 square. They'll kick it out. They won't take it. It doesn't fit their criteria. Okay. But if you can quickly evaluate your deal and figure out what the cap rate is, you're going to be in a pretty stinking good position with your offers with your sellers. And if you guys need help with this, please let me know. But nonetheless, back to our flow chart here. So working with active agents in our median price point, because we want to be able to find deals that work for wholesale deals, whether that be to either if we're selling to funds, okay, but primarily you're going to be selling most of your deals to fix and flippers. So you need to stick around the median price point where most people are doing business. Okay. That's the idea there. Where do we go to pull this list? You guys have maybe seen me do this, but I use batch leads. If you wanted to get our code, we do have one. You get half off your first month as long as you enter the code NoFluff. If you just follow this link, they don't give you the half off. So, it's weird. I don't know why they don't do that, but you have to enter that code. But if you want to get batch leads, cool. It's like $99 a month. If you're using Deal Generator, then you know that I pull your first list for you, so you don't really need it. But if you needed to pull batch leads and you have your own subscription like future lists and stuff, this is what we use to pull our active list, right? So all we simply do, if you guys want me to show you really quickly, just as an example for this flow chart, in this cash cowboy approach, I recommend updating your list at least once every other week to once a month. So if I'm trying to target properties that are like in and around, I don't know, let's see here, in and around Phoenix, well, pretty simply, I would draw my shape, cover most Phoenix area, all the way up the New River, over to Rio Verde, here, Apache Junction, all the way to like Santan and Florence, across, right? So it will look something like that. Now, what I'll do with my filters is I filter out. I say, give me residential homes, give me the ones that are single family, because this is the easiest price point, guys. I'm not saying you can't wholesale commercial deals. You definitely can. You can go do multifamily, duplexes, you can do all this stuff, but the easiest place to get started where you have the most resources. If you didn't watch the video in the YouTube channel or the masterclass, I talked about how to go from 0 to consistent deals a month. And I recommend starting with single family because it's probably the easiest place, right? So we have our single family homes. We have, we want to work with properties that are individually owned, not LLCs, at least in the beginning. And then we want to work with properties that are on market because, again, I don't care about the property itself. I care about the agent that's listing it. So I want to find agents that are doing business and making money. Those are the ones that I want to talk to. Those are the people that I want to build a relationship, right? So if I do this and I use my filter, you see there's 4,900 active listings right now in the price point that I want to be in for Phoenix, which I don't go anything higher than 550 here. This is my price point. These 4,900 don't care about Leisure World or Wavelength Avenue or Michelle Drive, any of these properties, don't care about those. I care about the person listing these properties. This tells me there's probably, a lot of these agents have multiple listings, probably at least 3,500 agents in here that I want to reach out to see if they have anything that could take a look, right? That's what I mean by activate. So going back here, I pull my list just like that in batch leads, and I look for people who are taking, and I export that list and upload into Deal Generator. So you guys maybe have seen me doing some of my lead gen stuff here on the channel or in our master classes. Deal Generator is the system we use. This is how I text people. This is how I call people, how we literally follow the entire process start to finish. So if you want to see what that looks like, it kind of leads me right into what we call our first, right? So if you see here is Deal Generator literally working the way it should work, right? It sends text messages. If they don't respond a week later, sends another text message, follows up with people. You'll get a mixture of who is this? I don't know you. Stop texting me. And you'll get people who be like, yes, can you give me 20 minutes? I'll give you a call. It's about back to my office. Matt, give me a call or text me. I'm back at my office, right? That's what we want. I want to get on the phone with Connie and I want to talk to her about potential properties we could do together. That is the start basically of the process. I added these two steps because it's important that you guys understand again, just like the way this stuff should work. And I say you need to refresh data at least every, okay, refresh data. So assuming you're doing that and assuming you are talking to realtors and you're following the process as it's designed to be followed, you got the data. Now we need to really start actually doing it. So that leads us into, draw a little arrow here, straight down into the first K. So this is the reason why most people are not consistent in their business, is because we're really inconsistent with the lead gen side. Okay. So this is the problem we have to fix first. If your goal, how many of you guys watching right here today, you want to do 2 deals a month, 3 deals a month minimum, right? And normally that's like a breaking point, right? 2 to 3 deals a month means you can basically go full time into real estate. So if that's the goal, and normally 2 to 3 deals means you're making about 20, 30 grand in real estate. Okay. If that's the goal, and we're working with active agents and we're refreshing this data every single month and we're adding it into Deal Generator to market to. And guys, to me, whatever system you want to use is fine by me. But just know, like, we created Deal Generator to follow this specific process. We have people using it to do big text blasts. We have people now using it to do direct to seller. Hey, hope you're enjoying the video up to this point. Look, cold calling, texting, prospecting doesn't have to suck. In fact, you can actually do it with a group of people and it can be fun. This next upcoming boot camp, October 18th and 19th, we spend 2 days, not just prospecting, but we also comp properties and evaluate them. We help you negotiate deals live. The only goal for us over those 2 days is to get as many deals as we possibly can. I want you to consider joining. If you want to learn more information about it, there'll be a link in the description, and I hope to see you there. Marketing and being able to text homeowners too for their pre-foreclosures, land deals, and all kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, whatever system you want to use, just follow something, have some structure there on the system side so you can leverage that, okay? But anyways, to your first touch, there's only a certain amount of things that can happen. So when it comes to marketing to these agents, all right, the most shiny objects, you guys, are around marketing, because everybody's like, I got this really hot sheet of leads. You guys need to get this data. All these people on this list want to sell their home. And you got other people who are like, we have the best stuff in the world. We have AI list. It's going to tell you who's the most likely to sell their home. It's all still a lot of work. I'll go ahead and tell you, there's no magic list that's just going to pop out deals at a fraction of the cost. These people are marketing to you guys so you can buy this stuff, okay? Like, it's nice to have some, niche data for sure. And the more niche it can get, probably the higher likelihood you are going to get a deal, but you still need a system and a process to follow, or else you're just literally lighting money on fire and hope for the best, okay? So whatever you decide to do up here at the top, whether that be direct to seller or direct to agent, that's up to you. I tell, like, all of my students and people that I work with, they come in and we start working with agents first because it's the fastest path of me getting someone successful. To be honest, if someone came to me, Matt, I got to get a deal ASAP, I'd be like, great, we are talking to agents, let's go, right? And that's basically it, okay? We don't need to focus on anything else until you start doing a couple deals. And once you start doing a couple deals, and you're making good money and you consistently made $30,000, $40,000, and maybe within like a 3-month span or a 4-month span, you cleared about $100,000, then we can start talking about doing some paid advertising and doing some other stuff that's gonna cost you some money, because you have experience by that point. You understand how to work the system, you understand how to work the flow, but also more importantly, like, you have the money to spend as well. It's not like your last dollar, we're hoping I got $100 to spend, I need to turn this into $1,000. You have a thriving business by that, okay? So that's the reason why I like having people work with agents first, because it's a fraction of the cost. It's very short. So anyways, this first touch is the first piece to marketing. If we can master this first touch when it comes to working with agents and doing the cash cowboy / cowgirl approach, you guys are going to be in a great position. But the first touch is so important. Really, there's only 4 things that's going to happen here, and I'll highlight them here. So you got people you call or text and they don't answer, right? You have your no answer. Cool. We tag them in the system, like inside. If you guys know Deal Generator, you understand how this works. If you're not using Deal Generator, you can mimic something like this in your own system. But basically, we have a column full of people that never answered. Basically, these are still new leads because we have never talked to them yet. But I want to be able to determine, hey, I've tried to call them, but they haven't answered. Do I have the right phone number, etc.? So there's a place in our pipelines to be able to see how many people are no answers. You can clearly see that there. The next outcome you're going to have when you do your outreach and do your marketing is you're going to call people and they say, never call me again. Great. They're dead. Cool. I'll tag that. You know what? I'll mark that red. So we call them. They say, never call again. Great. We tag them in the system. We call that cash agent dead. All right. There's the column full of dead leads. And what you'd be surprised is it doesn't happen that often. You're looking at thousands and thousands and thousands of people that we've marketed to, and we have 79 people that we tagged as dead, right? That is pretty stinking cool. So most of these people, especially if they're professionals and they're making money in real estate, they know not to burn bridges, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're normally pretty cordial about it, right? So that is your second outcome. You're going to call and they're going to say no, don't have anything for you. Your third outcome is you're going to call them. Boom. Okay. You actually have a conversation. You're going through your process. You ask them if they have anything coming up that needs some work, and they say, no, I don't have anything. At least not right now. Thanks for calling. You say, hey, no worries. Well, how often do you have something? Or these things kind of pop up, and they say, a couple times a year. Who knows? Honestly, I mostly work with retail clients. You say, perfect. Well, look, I buy the retail properties too. They just have to be on creative. So that's typically why I just try to focus more on the fixers, because, not that many people are wanting to do seller finance. But hey, if it ever pops up, you got a weird scenario, let me know. But in the meantime, between now and, can I check back in with you maybe in like a month or so? And they say, sure. And we tag that person as a tier 3. They never gave us anything to work, but they gave us permission to follow up. And that is a tier. Okay. All the colors. And then the other outcome is not tier 2. The other outcome is tier 1. This is an agent that you called and they said, yeah, here's an address, give me an offer. And what success looks like in this model is getting 49 to 59 no's to every deal that you get. So normally we call it this valley of despair whenever you start doing this process and you start getting leads and you get a bunch of no's. As not no's from the agent, but no's from like me or inside the community, or even from when you run your numbers, like, oh my gosh, I can't get it low enough. That is what success looks like in this model, because you're going to have a lot of properties sent your way that the price is either too high or they're not open to creative. And if they are, it doesn't cash flow, et cetera, et cetera. But that's okay. They sent you an address. So we want to make sure that we give them the respect and we call them back. And when I say everybody gets an offer within 24 hours, what I really mean is you're going to call that agent back. Don't submit blind offers. This is very important. I was talking to one of my students this past week about this. Don't submit offers without calling the agent. The agent's like, yeah, give me something in writing. Here's 123 Main Street. Do not just send them an email with your offer. Even though they told you to, what you need to do is you need to go back, underwrite your numbers, right? And I'm going to get to this in just a second. But more importantly, before I submit this or move it further down in our flow here, right? Before I move it down, the most important piece is I need to get on the phone with them, because most of the time, 49 times out of 50, 59 times out of 60, it's not going to work. And I don't want them to think I'm a low baller. So I don't want to just send them an offer. So what I'll do is I'll call them up and I say, hey, look, John, I really appreciate you. Or hey, look, Susan, I really appreciate you. Thanks for sending this one over. To be honest, I'm quite a bit less than I think what they're looking to get on this one. And I'd hate to give you an offer and you lump me in with every other person that you call a low ball investor, because that's not what I'm trying to do. The numbers just have to work. And I think on this one, I'm just a good ways off, right? And unless John or Susan or whoever says, Matt, please just give us something. We don't really have much else on the table. Like, they're pretty negotiable. Give us something. We'll take a look at it. I will try, and I will 100% of the time always pull the number out of the agent to figure out what their bottom dollar is. I was at an appointment 3 days ago here in person. I took Nate out. So Nate, if you're watching, what's up, brother? But the agent was like, I was like, hey, so, do you guys have any offers on the table? He said, oh, we've had offers and stuff. I'm like, okay. So it wasn't high, and it wasn't what you guys were looking for. So what are you guys looking for? He's like, I don't know. Send us something. Give us something in writing and we'll take a look. I'm like, okay, give you something in writing. Well, what did you guys say no to? And he goes, well, we had an offer at 240. And I was like, man. I was like, oh, okay, 240. To be honest, I don't know if I can even pay that much. And he's like, well, you know what? We're just looking for something fair. And I was like, okay, well, what's fair? And then he finally told me, he's like, well, you know what? Like, we're looking, if you can get us anywhere from like 250 to 270, like, we believe that would be fair. He said, I know you got to make money, but like, that's what we think. So I'll have that conversation, because if I did not have that conversation, I would have submitted an offer at 225, which was going to be my initial numbers. I would have submitted an offer at 225 and I would have never heard back from that person ever again. So it's important that in this stage, okay, very important, in the stage of getting an address sent to you, especially because we're looking for off-market properties. For on-market properties, if you guys seen any of this stuff we've been doing for Mission It's Possible this week, the live calls in the morning and the Underwriting Academy we've been doing at 3 p.m. Eastern, you know what I'm talking about here. Like, we have types of avatars of properties we know are going to work. So if you get a property, okay, and if you guys missed any of that training, you can go to noflufflive.com/mission Mission Launch and go watch any of the live streams we had this past week. There was like 6 of them. It was a lot. And you know what? I'll show you what this is on the page. noflufflive.com/mission launch. And if you go to this page, assuming you've already gone to It's Possible, but if you already logged in, it looks like this. So you'll see all of our live calls. I've been doing this with my students this week, and I'm having you guys like just tune in and watch. So there's a lot of cool stuff in here you guys can come in here and check out for the live calls. And you can hear, kind of like on the Underwriting Academy, this really becomes the biggest challenge in this model when it comes to working with agents, because you're going to get a lot of leads. And it's our duty and our responsibility to try to get back with them within 24 hours. Super important. If you haven't gotten a deal, okay, if you're like, hey, I've been trying some of this stuff, Matt, it hasn't worked out for me yet. Any month that I've seen, like I know it takes about 50 to 60 properties to get a deal. There's been months where it took over 100 properties to get a deal. And anytime that was the case, it was because it took me longer than 24 hours to give them an offer, okay? So we got to be pretty quick with this. You got to understand how to underwrite it. And that's honestly where I step in for like a lot of the people that I work with one-on-one and stuff, is I help them underwrite the properties, and we can help to call and negotiate and stuff too, right? But anyways, we create an offer in the offer pipeline. This is only for you guys that are using Deal Generator. You'll understand this stage, right? And we underwrite this property. Within 24 hours, we need to underwrite it, and we need to give them some sort of offer. And this offer sometimes is me calling them, telling them I can't pay their price. I don't even give them an offer. I don't even give them something in writing. I don't give them a letter of intent. None of that stuff. I have a conversation with them to see how flexible their client is, or do they think that to get like a real number that I think the clients can actually accept. Because what I don't want to do is like, this isn't a machine gun approach. We're like a sniper, right? We got one shot. What I don't want to do is I don't want to give that shot. And then guess what? After I gave my offer, I've never found a seller being like, Matt, thanks for offering me $250, but you know what? I'll accept $235. I have never ran across a seller that was willing to take less than what I initially offered. I have only ever run across sellers that want more money after I give them an offer. I'll give you $200, and they're like, well, I want $220. Doesn't go the other way, right? So I want to make sure before I shoot my shot and I give them something in writing and I see if this is something that's going to work out, it's at a place where I know I can do the deal, and they're in a place where they're going to accept the number that I send over. Okay? Super important. So in this process, this is typically where a lot of leads fall out because they can't work. You can't work the deal, right? Maybe it doesn't work for the hedge fund. So if it doesn't fit for these kind of buying criteria, and they are super strict, they're super strict. If it doesn't fit this criteria, don't even submit it. But this is our big competitive edge in the markets that we are in, though, is being able to sell deals at a premium. But look, if we can't come to a price, whether it's our traditional numbers when we're selling deals to your fix and flippers. In some markets, you can sell deals for a little bit more than others, but I'll tell you, good rule of thumb right now is you're about 55 to 60% ARV for the most popular market. So you're about 55 cents on the dollar for everything that you do. So within this stage, we could clearly call this person and say, look, we can't pay their price. Yeah, well, we already have other offers on the table, blah, blah, blah. Cool. Caveat to all of this, you guys, is a piece to the negotiations that I'm going to explain here in just a second. But whenever this happens, we underwrite a property, and I'm going to put here, can't do, right? Anytime we underwrite the property and we can't do the deal, we will then tag this person here, can't do. So if you guys are using Deal Generator and you're wondering how to execute all of this inside of Deal Generator, and you want to understand the workflow inside of Deal Generator, and you need more help with that, our Tech Tuesday call this coming week, you guys, because a lot of you guys right now in the chat do have Deal Generator. Our Tech Tuesday this upcoming week is going to be all around how to make sure you're using the system the way it's designed to be used. Tagging leads right, you're moving them in pipelines correctly, you're updating them correctly in contacts, all the stuff. So if this is like, ooh, this is a lot to try to stay ahead of, and I don't understand all the tags, Matt, come to Tech Tuesday call. It's 5 p.m. It's just for the Deal Generator, but because it's the only one that'll make sense. I can't like teach you guys how to use the CRM and I use it. But yeah, Tech Tuesday will be going through all that. But nonetheless, if you get a property to the stage, you underwrite it and realize you can't do the deal, whether your offer got rejected or whether, they said, yeah, we got other offers on the table, you couldn't pay their price, whatever. They're not open and creative. Tag this person as a tier 2 in this, okay? And a tier 2 is simply anyone who's given you an address, but it hasn't worked out. We follow up with those people a little bit more often than we do our tier 1, okay? That's sweet. Got you, Laura. All right, next step, okay? So again, guys, follow these steps. Is literally how you do deals consistently. If you veer off of this, you try to throw your own little twist to it all. Or, like I've had even students that I work with one-on-one, I outline the process, and then like they don't follow it. They start using their own thing. I'm like, oh, Matt, why was using this tool and I started doing this. I'm like, when did we ever talk about that? And look, I'm all for it. I want you, it's your business. Have some creativity for sure, but let's make some stinking money. And then you can start throwing some extra creativity in, right? So anyways, down to the negotiation step. Technically, I would call basically step 3. So we have leads. This needs to be happening consistently. What I don't want you guys to do is I don't want you guys to have generated leads and then you stop generating leads while you're trying to underwrite, while you're trying to negotiate, and then follow all the rest of the steps process. So this is where like having a team or a partner or something like this is where kind of like we step in for a lot of our students. We help them underwrite, we help them negotiate, we help them do all these things so that way they can be consistently generating leads. Or we have people getting virtual assistants up here doing this. So then that way they can spend their time underwriting properties, calling and negotiating. A virtual assistant is very powerful in this model. It works really, really, really well. We had John and Joel. Joel, if you're watching, congratulations, brother. They got a deal in using a virtual assistant. And they're just like our most 2 days ago. So pretty cool to see, but it works really well. But nonetheless, right? Step 3 is we're going to call and negotiate the opportunity. We update this inside of Deal Generator to our negotiations phase. It's right here. You guys see we have an offer pipeline for this stuff. Whenever I get a property over and I'm like, all right, cool, I got the numbers, I'm going to move it over to negotiation. Okay. That's the next step in this process. And there's only 2 outcomes. Either they're not interested and they say, no, thank you, dead. Go ahead and take the person and move it on up. This person will go directly, or you know what? If it's dead, go ahead and move that sucker into tier 2. If they are interested and they ask you to send something over in writing, if you're using our TC, this is where a TC would come in. We have the contracts for this for you guys. I actually put the contracts into Masterclass Pass. So that's really important. So if you want the 3-page contract we use for cash deals, if you go to noflufflive.com/masterclass pass, you will get all of these previous recordings and you'll get the resources that we discussed on these trainings. And one of those was the cash contract. So you'll be able to find it. I did a contract masterclass and it's in there. So you guys can go down. Okay. So you send the contract. All right. After you send the contract, it's either signed or again, it's another place for it to die. They didn't like the terms or they accepted someone else's, et cetera, et cetera. Well, if they accepted someone else's or they didn't like the terms, said, we're moving on, we're selling it to someone else. Great. Tag it tier 2, keep it moving. But for the most part, guys, from our approach, since we don't send over offers in writing just and blast, but we do like a more sniper approach, most of our contracts we send out are getting signed. All right, I sent out one last night. We'll see how that goes because it's got to be approved by the whole family. But for the most part, when we send our contract, oftentimes, if I run the statistics inside of our CRM, probably over 80% of the time when we send contracts, we already know ahead of time that they're probably going to work, right? So send contract gets signed, right? Wonderful. That's the outcome that we're looking for, all right? So if you're using the system, you'll open escrow within 48 hours and you start marketing the property. So as you can see, this running a wholesale business is many steps. Okay. So the first thing that we did, we got to master getting leads. And if this is not consistent, the rest of this other stuff doesn't matter like at all. We need this to be as consistent as it possibly can. So that's why it's like using a system or a tool. Like again, I'm not telling you guys that you got to use Deal Generator, but I'm just showing you it's going to send text messages if I'm around or if I'm not, if I add a tag, if I don't, doesn't matter. It's still going to market to people for me. And I just work the inbound conversation. And the other piece of that is I pay somebody $4 an hour to make cold call to the same list. And they bring me, I don't know if I look at Slack right now, Realist team, they'll bring me on average, one virtual assistant will bring me on average, or her day yesterday, 1, 2, 3, 4. She sent me 4 leads yesterday, and that's outside of my normal, outside of the text messages and stuff that everyone else. So look, I promise you, it's not rocket science, okay? But it has to be done consistently, otherwise nothing else matters. I see a lot of people saying, Matt, I'm building my buyers list, right? Why? Find one person, okay? And that heads into the next. But ultimately, we need leads or else we don't have a business. The next step is getting you guys really good at being able to evaluate properties. And that's the whole reason why I've been streaming the Underwriting Academy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing it and we'll be doing it the entire month of October. This past week, we just did cash deals. This upcoming week, we're going to talk about creative underwriting, teaching you guys how to underwrite creative to make sure you actually do indeed have a good deal. But if you're missing missing this component right now. Do not even worry about this component if you don't have leads. I got people telling me like, Matt, all right, before I get leads, I got to learn how to underwrite. No, don't do that. Let's just get started. Let's start getting some opportunities. We will get help with underwriting, whether that be with me, with the team. Like, so number one, if you're not in, I have a limited amount of time. So this is one of the biggest things I do help students with is underwriting and helping them negotiate deals. But like, if you're not in our group, I am going to be creating a subgroup with my students to help you guys. And you know, another thing you can do to help yourself is just come to the Underwriting Academy to better understand this. But don't let that stop you from at least starting to get some opportunities, because you're going to learn so much more if you come to the underwriting call and you're like, Matt, I have 123 Main Street here, right? Or hey, you know what we're going to be talking about today is perfect because I already have a couple leads. I want to kind of run through this process, right? But we need to have those leads first. And then the second piece, you're going to master underwriting. After that, you're going to master how to negotiate properties. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this content and you're liking what you see here on this channel and you want to be a part of our live trainings that we do every single Saturday, that's where this recording came from. We call it our masterclass. You can join the very next one by going to noflufflive.com. You'll sign up there. You'll get the link. It's free, never charge for it. If you ever want the recordings from previous ones that you see here on the YouTube channel, or maybe even ones that I haven't even posted, go to noflufflive.com/masterclass pass. You'll see it in the description of this video. It's completely free. We never charge for it. The only thing that I hope is you use this information, you use these recordings, and you go make money. So maybe down the line, we can do some deals together. Let's get back to the training. So if you guys are following Mission It's Possible, just for the month of October, guys, we're running this for the whole time to the end of the year. So October is all around underwriting. Guess what November is? November is all around negotiations, teaching you guys how to negotiate these stinking deals. Because after you acquire that skill of being able to negotiate and get what you want, this whole thing is just a game after. It's just how much you do. How much do you want it? Do you want to turn it off sometimes? I was telling this guy, I was telling John, what's up, John, if you're watching? I was telling him this past week, I was like, you know what? I could lose everything that I have and just go back to the basics, but there'll never be a time in my life where I don't make at least $50,000 to $60,000 a month because I have acquired the skill of being able to talk to people and negotiate, right? I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly what to say and how to put these things together. So this is a learnable skill. And once you understand this stuff, it doesn't matter what happens to you. You could turn it off, you can turn it back on, you can turn it off, you can turn it back on, like whatever. But that is huge, huge, huge thing. So the month of November, instead of Underwriting Academy, is going to be negotiation tactic. It'll be the same time, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So guys, all this stuff is free. Don't charge for any of this stuff. I want y'all doing deals. The only thing I ever charge for is someone wants to work with me one-on-one and they want to scale their wholesale business fast. That's it. Everything else, you're going to learn here. Promise you, not going to hold anything back from you. So after you negotiate the deal, they're interested, you send the contract and you get the contract signed. This is where we start marketing the property. And this is where I highly recommend you guys have some sort of strategic partner. Try to sell the deal, sure, yourself, but I promise you, it get a little messy. Bare minimum, have a transaction coordinator so you're not babying that file all the way to close. Pay somebody $500 within the transaction. They get paid out at closing. Do that. Pay someone $500 to just handle all the paperwork for you. I promise you, there's better things you should be doing, right? You should be negotiating more deals, underwriting more property, not wondering, oh crap, do we get that addendum signed so we can close next? No, let the TC do their, okay? But you're going to open escrow, you're going to deposit earnest money. So if you're in a place right now, you're like, Matt, I don't have enough money for earnest money. I've never opened escrow before and I don't have any buyer. Great. Get a strategic partner who does. Normally, there's a lot of people out there who would love to help you sell your deal. And they typically have a big buyers list already. You can just tap into that and just say, hey, look, like for me, I tell my dispo partners, I'm like, look, this is how much money we are looking to get for it. Like if I'm selling to fix and flippers and stuff, I'll say, look, I'm looking to get $190,000. Anything over $190,000 is going to be yours, right? I don't JV with these. If I have a dispo partner or someone who has access to a lot of buyers, I don't 50-50 with these people. I say, this is my number. Okay. Anything above this, you guys can have as a fee. So typically they make $5 to $10,000 per deal that they help. But like also that's the reason why I'm really excited to get these hedges going again, because like they're easy process, easy to implement. But nonetheless, don't let you not having any sort of buyers stop you from finding deals. Find one or two people who have a lot of buyers and work with them. Now, again, I do help my students sell their deals. So like that's a big portion of what we do. I wish I had enough time to work with everybody's deals because I'm all about it, but I'd rather have people that are in my world, help you guys and they get even more value from that. And you get more value from being in a world from them doing that. So like I'm a big proponent of just helping you guys connect with people that can help you deals to sell if you're not like in our world. So, well, you're here, but you know what So after you start marketing the property, right? Social media, personal relationships, buyers tools, etc. The next thing is like what we're trying to get this thing done, guys. And this is very important in this process. Very, very, very. Take note, start this off right here. This is crucial. Okay. So wherever you're looking to build your buyers list, if you don't follow my warning here and work with one or two people who have access to a ton of buyers, like, you know what? No, Matt, I want to build my own buyers list. And we are going to be doing that in December. I'm going to show you guys how to do it. But if you do that and you're calling agents and you're saying, hey, is your clients looking to pick up more properties, etc., start this right here. When you work with agents on investment deals, one thing that I learned when I was doing a lot of direct to seller marketing, cold calling homeowners, doing this at a mass scale, spending almost $80,000 a month on marketing. The one thing that I never did really was drop the price or retrade the price because it just didn't feel like the right thing to do, right? It's either I'm going to do the deal or I can't. You know, every now and then the seller definitely misrepresented the property. I needed it much less than what they told me because it was not in the condition they told me it was in. That happens a lot with direct to seller. With agents, they can get in trouble if they misrepresent the property. But the one thing that I have learned is when you work with realtors, a very traditional part of the process of someone selling their home is they have inspection, right? Someone's going to have someone come over and inspect the house. Well, we understand we're buying the property as is, and so does the agent, but that we also have our due diligence period. One thing that I have learned working with agents is that they almost expect you to drop your price after your inspection. So if you don't do that, you're leaving $5,000 to $10,000 minimum on the table on like every single deal. So that's a part of our process. After we do our inspection, very often, every now and then, we run across something that is, every now and then we run across something and say, all right, there's no need to, there's enough profit margin here. But just about every single deal, you're leaving about $5,000 to $10,000 deal on the table by not asking for a small price reduction after doing your inspection. But it is also important that you do this during your inspection period, because if you don't do this during your inspection period, then you have no ground to stand on. You can cancel you can't cancel, or you're going to lose your earnest money. And also don't do it near the end of your inspection period. Normally your inspection period is in between like 5 to 10 days after you get a contract. So if you do this near the end of that, it's also very rude. It's like, hey, 1 day left or the final day of inspection, you come back and tell me you need a lower price. That's just not a good way to do business. So ideally, you're doing this early in your process. You're going out there, you're visiting your property, and you're doing some sort of small price reduction like early in your. But what's also happening at the same time is you're getting feedback from your end buyer. Take a note from that is you definitely want to make sure you add that to your process. Do a small price. You need to sell this puppy during the inspection period. If you do not, then you're going to have to cancel. No one likes canceling deals. Every now and then we run across a property we can't sell because it is not in the condition that they said it was going to be in, and they're not willing to drop their price at all. Cool. Well, we're going to have to, there's nothing we can do, right? But we want to sell this puppy during the inspection and then go for a price drop. Super important. I'll highlight that. All right. So if you're missing any of this, up to this point, there was no paperwork done. If we do a price drop, then there's an addendum. Have your TC do that. But like, this is a dance. Just like getting the contract is a dance, this is a dance as well. Being able to sell the deal. So what happens a lot for new investors is you feel like you got to get good at getting leads and then underwriting and then learning how to close them and then learning all the paperwork side of it and then learning how to find buyers and negotiating with your buyers. You feel like you got to get good at every one of these things. So guess what? You end up doing one deal every 3 months. Maybe one deal a month. Sometimes you guys like one deal a year, 2 deals a year. So it's just inconsistent. You can never really go full time into real estate because you're trying to do too much. You're trying to do it all yourself. So like I highly recommend strategic partners or installing systems like we're reviewing here today. Our systems basically take care of most of the stuff for us, but install systems so that way you can leverage that and you can do more. It's not because like we're not trying to outwork and just say, hey, we're trying to work 80 hours a week. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to be very efficient with the time that we have. As many of you guys watching right now, put in the chat, how many of you guys work other jobs other than real estate? Probably a whole lot, heck of a lot, right? So it doesn't get lost on me. It's a blessing that I get a chance to work on real estate all day, every day. But it's also one of those things where I shouldn't have to do 8 hours a day in my real estate business to do 2 deals a month. That is not necessary. I could do easily 2 to 3 deals a month working 2 hours a day. Now, after I get started, I work on my business currently maybe an hour a week, maybe 2 hours a week, right? Because I got other people in the business handling most. So anywho, yeah, Corey said I work 10 days a week. I'm with you, Corey. I'm with you, right? So we got to make the most of the time we have. Once you have an end buyer, and again, I recommend just having a dispo partner, guys. I JV'd to my first 60 some odd deals with Pace and Cody, not because I couldn't go find buyers myself, but because I knew that I was so much more efficient to give them the deal. They had the TC. They went and found a buyer. I could forget about it, and I'm going to go focus on getting more deals. The only thing that I could control to make consistent money in real estate was going and getting more contracts. If I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs and hoping a deal would sell, it was not making me more money today. Okay. So, but anyways, guys, after you get your price drop and you got your final price, you get your assignment signed between your buyer and assignee. At that point, your deal is set to close. If they don't sign the assignment, they're probably going to have to cancel, screwed you over. So hopefully you don't work with buyers like that, or people who are helping you dispo who deal with buyers like that. Not to say that doesn't happen. This is real estate. It's always like, hey, you're going to have to deal with a lot of crap to make great money. But at the same time, it's like you make a lot of money. So sometimes you're going to have to deal with, but for the most part, you want to try to deal with good people who are going to sign their assignment and they're going to keep their promises. Like I have some really good people in my network that I know when they have a buyer, they're going to close. I don't have to worry about it. Let me knock on wood. All right. So after that, get your pre-closing checklist. This is something your TC would handle for you, right? Your title they need your wire instructions on getting you paid. You're going to make sure your buyer has their loan docs to title 3 days before. So normally your buyers are using hard money typically. So they need to make sure their hard money loan docs are at title 3 days before closing. And then 5 days before close, ask title for a clear to close. So you'll be surprised how many people treat their real estate transactions like, hey, the closing date is a nice, it's theoretical suggestion, right? That's how they treat their business, and they treat these deals. Even title companies, oh yeah, shoot, that's supposed to close on Wednesday, huh? Look, we're just now getting to it. We're gonna need a small. It's like, what? So you want to make sure your TC's on top of this piece of it, right? One metric we try to track, and be honest with you guys, I could do a lot better with it, is how many deals do we close on? And most of the time the closing's being delayed is not on us. Right now we have a buyer trying to close and they need to go to an embassy to sign, and they can't get to the embassy until the 10th. So they had to extend the closing a week because of that. So every now and then that happens, right? 5 days before closing, at this point, we already have our buyer. We need to make sure title will be clear to close by that closing, okay? And that's something your TC will help you stay on top. And that's the reason why I say pay somebody $500 a file to handle all this paperwork, the assignments, the addendums for price drops, pre-closing stuff, talking with title, talking with the seller, talking with the agent, saying, hey, yeah, everything's in there. I'm your point of communication. It is so worth it because you can focus on this up here. So if you want to do consistent deals with the cash cowboy / cowgirl approach, working with agents, you need 50 to 60 properties to get to a deal, assuming you're underwriting them and you're giving calls to the agents to negotiate and potentially present offers within 24 hours. If you don't do that, it's going to be tough. Your numbers on your properties, you're going to have to get 100, 150 properties to get a deal. Basically just like getting pretty lucky, right? But if you want the numbers to work better in your favor, like for me, if I'm doing it myself end to end, I will get a deal in less than 18 agents because like I'm going to move it along rather quickly. And as long as the quality of the lead is there, assuming that it's an off-market property or something that they're open to creative, we're going to get those. But you got to be able to do this within 24 hours. If you are unfamiliar on how to underwrite properties, or you need help, or this is going to be a bottleneck for you, don't let it stop you from generating leads. You can get a virtual assistant calling, pay that person $4 an hour. We have a VA company that can install VAs in your business right now to call agents, and you will get leads like today. That's not a problem. But if you don't have that kind of money to spend, leverage a system. Even if you don't have Deal Generator, make no excuse. Like you can text 50 people on your phone, right? But don't let it stop you from getting leads. You need the next step behind that is learning how to underwrite, and to watch our live underwriting for the rest of the month, noflufflive.com/mission launch. Type that in. You can watch the recording on the mission launch page. It's this one right here. You'll find the daily calls here. YouTube may start taking off some of my live calls. They don't like when I share people's personal information. So try to catch them at least within a day or two of them being posted. There's a chance to take some of these off. But the Underwriting Academy should be good. So you'll find both of those, including the live streams. In order to watch these, the live streams are actually in here. If you go to noflufflive.com/mission launch, you will see the recordings for those. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for underwriting. So back to the process. If we are looking here on end to end, we now have the next step in this process is learning how to negotiate. We're going to be spending a lot of time with you guys in November. I'm going to be teaching my students how to do this, and that's what we're going to be live streaming so you can watch along as I work with them. I want to help you to be able to get more deals. This is a skill, like I said before, that no one will be able to take away from you. Once you learn this stuff, can make as much money as you want in real estate, even if you want to turn it off and turn it on from time to time, go on vacation, come back, close more deals, whatever. It's probably like the best cheat code in real estate. And it's one way you can always make sure that you stay in this and you make it full time. So November, we're going to be teaching you guys how to do that. Okay. And then of course, in December, leading up to Christmas, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to build your buyers list and do this side. So if you stick with me, if you want your business to be really consistent and you want to do, like, if your goal from now until the end of the year is you want to make 40 to 50 grand in your real estate business, you need to be sticking with me. We do the live calls here on Masterclass on Wednesdays and Saturdays, just like this one. And then outside of that time, we're doing the live calls that you'll find on Mission Launch, noflufflive.com/Mission Launch. Every single day, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. Eastern, we do our calls. This is my morning mentorship. We call it office hours, but I'm streaming that for you guys. And then we do our 3 p.m. Eastern Underwriting Academy until the end of October. And then November, we're picking up shit. Stick with me. By the end of the year, not only will you have a fully built out business and you'll really understand this entire model, and I know you're going to be doing deals. More importantly, you're going to make some staking money, but you got to follow along. You don't have to pay for any of this stuff, guys. I hope you get value from these training, and I hope that you go and you implement this stuff. And if there's anything that I can help you with, I know today's training was supposed to be 30 minutes, we're in an hour, but I couldn't make this any shorter. I hope, did you guys get some value from today? I hope as you go to implement this, let me know if there's anything that we can help with inside the community. Our Facebook group, No Fluff Real Estate with Matt Beard. Go in there. I would love for you guys to post. In fact, today, I want to challenge you to go to the Facebook group today and post that you need help. Post that you would like to find a strategic partnership. Post saying, hey, I'm looking for somebody to squad up with or buddy up with or whatever you want to call it to do this mission It's Possible with. Because sometimes it's nice to have an accountability buddy. Say, oh, you just said that. I need an accountability buddy. I want to challenge you guys to go to the Facebook group and look for help. Because if you're, that's just having that component. Like what was the statistics on like weight loss when you have a workout partner? It's like the success of doing it alone versus having a partner, it goes up like almost 80%. It's crazy. So like if you're having a tough time staying consistent, life happens, guys. And when real estate ain't your only thing, it's tough to make it the only thing because you got bills to pay, you got life, you got other people who don't even understand why you're on a live stream learning real estate on a Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Well, I get you. You're my people. I got your back. So look, I don't expect you to get support sometimes from the people around you because you're trying to change your life. Don't expect you to get support from family members and friends who don't know that you're trying to really make this thing happen because they haven't seen it happen yet. And it's not their job to support you yet. It's not until you start seeing some results or they're like, holy crap, okay, something's going on over here. I remember, I've said this before, but I remember my family saying, I'm getting into real estate. Like, oh, so are you going to go back to school? Or like what? I'm like, no, I'm just going to do real estate. What are you talking about? Right? It's almost like treated like, like I wasn't going to make any money in real estate. It was just like, oh, this is what people do whenever they're looking to go do something else. I never wanted to feel that way. And it wasn't their job to believe in me, but I believe and I stay consistent and I show up and I do the things even when I don't feel like doing them. And some days are harder than others for sure. But I'll tell you guys what really makes it worthwhile for me. I get to do it. And I also have a big community now of people inside of my group that I work with. I have to stay accountable for my students and I have to stay accountable for you guys. And that is such a big help. So if you are in a place where you're like, I need some more support, I need some help, and I'm going to be a little vulnerable, go to the Facebook group and ask for that help. My job is to help you guys get connected. So post in there where you're at in your market and you're looking for support. I'll try to connect you with the right people. I want you guys to win. I want you guys to win in a big way from now until the end of the year and then into the future. 2025 starts now. We're 3 months out. It's crazy to say that because I feel like 2024 literally just started, but we're less than 3 months away now, starting a brand new year. And every year we want to be better. And every year it just doesn't work out the way we want. And if that has been the running theme for you, well, let's make this dang thing happen. Know I got your back always. If there's anything I could do for you guys, please let me know. You can go to this page and watch some of this stuff. If you're looking to get the end-to-end process, I'll be sharing this flow chart inside of the masterclass pass. So noflufflive.com/masterclass pass flow chart, which will detail the entire process of turning your business into a consistent machine step by step. If you're just getting started, the only thing you need to be consistent on is your daily habits. So guys, I'm super pumped to work with y'all. Whatever y'all need from me, please let me know. Go have a wonderful Saturday. We talk soon, okay? Bye.